It's only that you will be able to see the image of this object if you are inside the field of view of the reflected rays, of the object. So that means what is field of view? Because if the rays are falling on the mirror surface, they will be reflected. So the complete area where the reflected rays from the mirror are present will be the field of view. So if you are present somewhere within the field of view, you'll be able to see the object. Now think of a situation. You are standing at one side, on the one side of the mirror, and there is a person or your friend on the other side, or your mother or someone in the family on the other side of the room. Aren't you able to see the image of the person who is not directly in front of the mirror? Many times it happens that you're able to see, or you can see the the things which are not exactly in front of the mirror but are kept on the side, spacing or something like that. Depending on if you change the position in front of the mirror, the view, the objects which you can see within the mirror also changes. Is it so or not?
Yes.
So simply the concept is, the idea is that if you are in the region where the rays which are reflected from the mirror are present, you will be able to see the image, okay, in the mirror, right? So that means remember that any object which is kept in front of mirror, such that rays from the object are falling on the mirror surface, the mirror will be forming its image. So let's see here. Here, say this is a ray falling on one side of the mirror, okay, and then it is reflecting back, making the same angle, right? Another ray on the other extreme of the mirror will get reflected back at the same angle, right? So these are two rays which are reflected back on the mirror surface. Now when extended backward, these two rays are appearing to meet at this point. So that means image of the object is formed at this point. But you will be able to see the image only if you are in this particular space. This particular space is called field of view. The reason where reflected rays from the mirror are present. So if you are present in the field of view of an object, then you'll be able to see its image inside the mirror. Is this idea clear to
the
everyone?
object? The object doesn't need to be in the field of view.
No, object is like field of view is a space where reflected rays, the rays which are being reflected from the mirror, are present. We know that how we are able to see an object or its image when the reflected rays, when are reaching our eyes, we are able to see that object or that image. So yes, it is a region where all the reflected rays are present. So if you are within that region, that means you are receiving the reflected rays, the rays which are being reflected from the mirror. So then you'll be able to see the image also. Is it clear? Okay. So you can write down the field of view is the region. Field of view is the region between extreme reflected rays. Field of view is the region between. Field of view is the region between extreme reflected rays. Okay. And it depends upon the location of the object. Okay. Here, one more thing it should be clear to you that in case of plane mirror, always the image is formed at the same distance from the mirror as is the distance of the object. So even if the mirror is not present at a space, to find out where exactly the image will be formed, you extend your mirror such that we can find out what is perpendicular distance of the object from the mirror. Okay. At the same distance perpendicularly, the image will be formed. So that means if I'm giving you a case like this is a mirror, here is the object. So where the image will be formed? Image won't be formed on this side. It will always be formed perpendicularly in front of the object. Here the image will be formed. So if this is the object O1, where is the image is I1. Okay. Say this is another object here, O2. To find the image of the O2, if I extend this mirror, though in this region there is no mirror, but if I extend this mirror, the image will be formed perpendicular to the mirror in front of the object. Here, the image will be formed. So this is how you can readily keep this thing in your mind that even if the object is not kept directly in front of the mirror, the image of the object will be formed just opposite to the object such that if I extend the mirror, okay, so the distance of the object, the perpendicular distance of the object from the mirror, this virtual position of the mirror will be equal to the distance of the image from that mirror. Is this point clear to everyone? Any doubt in this thing? Okay then. Next, like what type of question will you get from field of view? Like they will ask you that for how long you are able to see the object, what is the range in which you'll be able to see an object. So in all such type of questions, or what will be the height of the object, what will be the minimum size of the image to see the complete image of an object. So all these questions can be approached by using the concept of field of view. Okay. So let's start with this question only, that what is the minimum height of the size of the mirror required to see your complete image in it. Okay. So write down that this is we'll be discussing first. I'll take different that the minimum size of the minimum size of the mirror required to see full image of oneself is, okay? Yes, will tell me if you know the answer. Tell me. Ma'am, half of our height. It will be half of our height. Okay, let's see how. Okay. So say this is the mirror. Here's the surface, and then this is an object or a person. Okay. So if I'm making a person, then to say this is his head. Here is the eyes. I'm drawing it, the proportion is not correct, so that we can easily understand because I have to draw the rays. So that's why the proportion is not exactly perfectly correct. And this is feet of the person. Okay. Now we know that the person, or you are able to see your image in the mirror because the light from, say, the rays from your head when strike the mirror surface after reflection, if it enters our eye, then we'll be able to see our head. Similarly, the rays from the feet when after reflection reaches our eye, we'll be able to see our feet. So that means here, a ray starting from head when reaches the eye, you will be able to see your head. Similarly, the ray starting from your feet when reaches your eye, you'll be able to see your feet also. Okay. Say distance between your eye and head is say x, and between your eyes and your feet is y. So that means complete height of the man is equal to x plus y. Okay. Now we know that angle of incidence and angle of reflection will be equal. So now I'm naming the points. So I've given this point as h. This is h. This is e. This is f. I'm just changing the position. Okay. And say I named this point as o. This point as p. Here as q. This point as r. Okay. Now if you see, then this triangle, which triangles? O, R, H and O, R, E. Will these triangles be congruent? Do you think these triangles are congruent? Yes, these triangles are congruent or not? Congruent, that means we simply know that OH is equal to OE, since both are congruent. I think so this idea is clear to everyone, so I'm not explaining it. So you get it that these are congruent. Similarly, triangles PQE and triangle PQF are also congruent. That means EP is equal to PF. So since HE is equal to x, so that means OH or OE will be equal to what? X by 2, right? And here it will be equal to y by 2, correct? Now, say this point is T. Then OE will be equal to RT or not? Because OR and ET are parallel lines. OR and ET are parallel lines. Therefore, OE and RT will be equal or not? This and this will be equal?
Yes.
Okay. That means here I'm getting RT is equal to x by 2. Similarly, ET and PQ are parallel. Therefore, EP will be equal to TQ. So that means I'm getting TQ equals to y by 2. Right? So actually, if I remove the upper and lower part of the mirror and only this much from R to Q, part of the mirror is kept, still the person will be able to see his full image, right? Because even if the upper part is not there and the lower part is not there, above R and below Q part is removed, still you'll be able to see your complete image or not. So we get here that the actual height of the mirror required is equal to x by 2 plus y by 2. That means equal to x plus y by 2. Okay? So size of the mirror required is equal to x by 2 plus y by 2. That is equal to x plus y by 2 or h by 2. So that's why we only need a mirror of height of half the height of the person to see the complete image. But there's one more thing you should know this thing, that the height of the mirror above the ground should be equal to y by 2. This is important. If we will keep the mirror at a distance, say if I keep this mirror of height h by 2 below q, then we won't be able to see head of then you won't be able to see your head. And if the mirror is kept starting above from the r, then you won't be able to see your feet. So in order to see your complete image, it is also needed that the image position, the mirror position should remain fixed. So what should be the mirror position? The mirror should be kept at a distance, y by 2. That means where y is the distance between eyes and the feet above the ground. Is this point clear to everyone?
And distance between the person and the mirror should be.
That doesn't make a difference. It's not important. Okay? Only the size of that means at whatever distance the person stands, the size of the mirror required will remain the same. Okay. So, but the position of the mirror from the ground is important. It should be kept at a height half the height of the distance between the eyes and the feet. Okay. Is this question clear to everyone?
Can you again explain how it becomes half?
Yeah, which part, beta? Which part becomes half?
After you said that RT is equal to x by 2, TQ is equal to y by 2. After that part.
Then the size of the mirror needed, because upper part of the mirror, even if I remove that upper part above R, still you'll be able to see your head.
Yes.
And if I remove the lower part, that means below Q, still we'll be able to see the feet.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means the useful length of the mirror is actually from R to Q.
Okay.
Got it? So the useful length is R to Q. But the position of the mirror above the ground is also important.
Yes.
If we keep the mirror below Q, starting, if we install it such that the lower point is below Q, you won't be able to see your head. And if we install it such that the upper point is above R, again we won't be able to see our feet now. Okay? So the position of the mirror is also important. So this point is clear to everyone? Okay? Sure. Next, in similar type of question, if they have not given us the position of the eye, then we will assume that the the distance between eyes and the head is very small. So we'll assume that h is the height of the man, and the size of the mirror will be h by 2, and the height of the mirror above the ground will also be h by 2, because they have not mentioned anything about the level of the eye above the ground. Okay?
I didn't understand what you said.
I'm saying that if in any question they have not given us what is the position of eye, they are only saying that h is the height of the man. Okay? Find the minimum size of the image mirror required and at what height above the ground this mirror should be installed. So since they have not given us any information that where the eye lies, therefore they'll simply take that the height is h, then the size of the mirror will be useful size of the mirror will be h by 2, and the height above the ground level where we should install the mirror should be also be h by 2. Okay? This is what I'm trying to say. Is this point clear to everyone? And please write it down, because I'll not be writing here. I've explained it. So all of you please write down these important points. Okay? So next is,
And why is it that it must be h by 2 above the ground?
We have done this, na beta? See here, in this we have derived it.
Approximating that in this case the distance between the eye and the head is negligible, so that y by 2 is basically equal to s by 2, which is why the distance is s by 2.
Next is, let's say it is given that this is a mirror. This question. Okay. Is a mirror, a plane mirror, and say the width of the plane mirror is d. Okay. And there is a source of light, a bulb or something like that, which is kept at the center, from the mirror. In front of it, at a certain distance, this distance is L. L is the distance of the source of light from the mirror, which is kept in front of the mirror. Okay. Now there is a passage, okay, in front of the mirror, kept parallel to the surface of the mirror, right? So, and if say distance between the mirror and this passage is say 2L, 2 times of L, then we have to find, or we have to tell that if a person is walking through this parallel lane, which is parallel to the mirror plane, then for how long this man will be able to see image of this source of light inside the mirror. Okay, write down the question here that you have to find out the greatest distance over which man can see image of the light source in the mirror. Find greatest distance over which man can see image of light source in the mirror. Right? This is your question. The question is clear to everyone?
Ma'am, is the black light, ma'am?
Again, repeat, beta.
Is the black light for the camera?
Yeah, the black line is the pathway in which the man is walking. Okay, here. The person is walking along this line.
Okay.
Right?
Ma'am, in the diagram, the L represents the light source, right?
L represents distance between the light source and mirror. Okay.
And S is the light source.
Yeah, distance between light source and mirror, and 2L is distance between pathway and mirror, and D is width of mirror. Okay. And source is midway along that width. Okay. Symmetrically kept in front of the mirror. The source of light is symmetrically kept in front of the mirror. So here again you have to apply the concept of field of view. You will see that from the source, the extreme lines which will reach the pathway, from one extreme to the other extreme, that is within that field of view, the person will be able to see image of the light source. You want to try or should I give you a hint? You want a hint or are you trying? I think so answers are there. Ishani, I think so your answer is correct. Yeah. Ishani, your answer is correct. Correct, betas.
Ma'am, are you speaking?
No, beta. I'm not saying, I'm giving you time to solve it, and then I'm also drawing the figure so that we can discuss. So let's discuss it now. Say this is source S. I'm naming the ends of the mirror as A, B, and the center of the mirror as say O point. Okay. The normal from one end of the mirror onto the pathway. This A to this I'm taking as N. This point as M. Right. This extreme is say P. This is Q. Right. So the thing is clear that a ray source of from the source of light, a ray is incident to one extreme B of the mirror after reflection reaches point P. In the same way, from S, when the ray is incident at point A, it will make the pathway at point Q. So that means the person will be able to see image of this light source from P to Q, because P to Q is a field of view of the object. That means within this range, the reflected rays are present. So we have to calculate what is the length from P. Right. This distance we know is D. Right. Now say this angle is I. So this angle is also I, and this is R, which is equal to I. Okay, right. And if I take the triangles, I talk about the triangles OSB and triangle MBP. Okay. Then we know that in these triangles, angle S, or I should say OSB is equal to angle MBP equals to I. Okay, then angle O equals to angle M, that is equal to 90 degree. So third angle will also be equal. So that means the two triangles are similar. Okay, and we know that for the similar triangles, ratio of the similar sides are equal. You know the thing. So using this result, we get that ratio of OB upon yes better OS yes better.
Ma'am, how are OSD
What's the doubt?
ma'am, under OSD and under MPP, how are they equal to I?
Because this is angle of incidence, this is angle of reflection, I and R are equal, and this angle I and this is equal to this is called what we said is two triangles or two angles. Yeah. So because of it, these are also equal. Got it? Okay. So OB upon OS in this triangle OSB will be equal to MP upon BN. Right. Now we know the values of OB. OB will be d by 2. Okay, giving us d by 2 upon OS is what? L will be equal to MP, which we don't know, upon BM is equal to 2L. So that means we get here, from here we get MP is equal to D. Right? So this distance is equal to D. Now similarly, for triangles O, SA and A and Q, we can show that these two triangles are also similar. Hence, going by the same method, we'll get that QN will also be equal to D. I think that part you can do yourself. Okay, by similarity of triangles OSA and NAQ, QN will be equal to D, right? And then since AN and B, that means AB will be equal to NN. Since AB is equal to D, this distance will also be equal to D. So this is D, this is also D, and this distance is also D. So the total path length for which the man will be able to see the image of the object inside the mirror will be. So your answer is 3D. Is this question clear to everyone? Any doubt in this question?
How did you get Q1 is equal to N?
Qn is equal to N. Qn is equal to D, I've got. Qn is equal to D by using the similar wave as we have solved above. You can do it yourself. Do the similarity of the triangles and then prove it and then solve it like this. And the Mn is equal to D. I think that one is clear to everyone because An is parallel to Bn. That's why AB will be equal to Nm. Is this one clear? Is this question clear to everyone? So if they change the length of between the object and the say path and so you'll be able to do such questions. Any such questions where they ask you to find what is the image will be seen, for how long the image will be seen, whether the image will be seen at this distance. In any such type of question, you have to use the similar concept. I hope the point is clear to everyone. So let's move to next type of question. Write down moving mirror and object. Questions on moving mirror and object. Okay? Moving mirror or object. So if we have such questions where we say that mirror is moving with a certain speed or object is moving in front of the mirror at a certain speed in a given direction, what will be the speed of the image? So we'll be finding out the speed of the image. Either object is moving or mirror is moving. Okay, so let's do one by one. So first case is case 1, where we'll say that mirror is stationary. Okay, is stationary and objective. Right? So if such a case is there, then we'll directly write down the results, and if you want, I'll do that. So you'll get these results that image moves with the same speed as that object. In such a case, image moves with same speed as that object. And second, that image moves in opposite direction. As compared to the object, image will move in opposite direction. So to prove that guys say that mirror remains stationary. This is for mirror. Say. This is initial position of the object. So if the object is at a distance of x, so its image will also be found at a distance of x. Now the image object moves towards the mirror by a distance 1. So this is the new position of the object. Okay. Now distance between object and mirror becomes x minus y. So clearly the image will also be formed at the same distance in front of the behind the mirror as that of the object. So that means this distance should also be x minus y. So simply the image has moved by a distance of y only and towards the mirror. So we can see here that the direction in which the object is moving and the direction in which the image are moving are opposite to each other, but the distance covered in both the cases will remain same. Okay. So here, if the speed of the object is v, then speed of image with respect to mirror will be minus v. I think so we'll write down better. We'll write here velocity also because then we are left in the negative sign to represent the direction. So the better word will be velocity. So write here velocity. If velocity of the object is v, then velocity of image with respect to mirror is minus v, and velocity of image with respect to object will be -2. ठीक है? Next is case 2, when mirror is moving and object is stationary. Mirror is moving and object is stationary.
And
Yes, beta.
Could you just explain how the velocity of the image with respect to the object is negative 2 ways?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, because if we see that with respect to object means that when we take the reference point as object, then as compared to object, how much distance the image has moved. So you can see that separation between the final position of the object and image has decreased by how much. So initially we can say like this, we can either do by the relative method or I'll be explaining here like this, that initial distance between object and the image was 2x. Okay. Now when the object has covered a distance, moved towards the mirror by a distance of y, now the distance between the object and the image is how much? 2x minus y. Okay. So that means the distance covered by the image with respect to object will be equal to how much? This was the initial distance.
2y.
So it will be 2y minus 2y actually. Okay. And that means when the object has covered a distance of y in time t, then image has discovered a distance of 2y in time t with respect to object. So that means the speed of the object, speed of the image with respect to object becomes 2y, 2 minus 2. This can also be given as relative concept when we say that speed, we have to find out speed of the image with respect to object can be given as speed of image minus speed of object. That means speed of image with respect to ground and speed of object with respect to ground. So speed of object with image with respect to ground we have calculated here is minus v. Minus speed of object with respect to ground is v. So from here also we get it as minus v. Is it clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am, what does VI stand for over here in the
Vi is velocity of image with respect to object. This thing. Now when the mirror is moving and object is stationary, in this case also we'll first of all write down the direct result, and the results are number one, that image moves with twice the speed of mirror. Image moves with twice the speed of mirror. And second is that image moves in same direction. Image moves along the direction of mirror. So in whichever direction the mirror is moving, the image will also move in the same direction. Okay? Now let's discuss the proof of this. So say this is my mirror. This is level. Okay. Now say here is my object. Distance between the object and mirror initially is say x. So the image will also be found x distance behind the mirror. This will be the image of the object, which is also found at a distance x. Now select the mirror shifts towards the object by a certain distance. The distance is y. So separation between object and mirror now will become x minus y. So the image should be found at a distance of x minus y from the mirror second position. So this is first position of the mirror, this is second position of the mirror. So that means this distance here the image will be found. Second position of the mirror, which will be at a distance of x minus y. Correct? Agree? So now we have to find out that how much the image has moved when we have moved the mirror. So that means we are interested to find out what we are interested to find out I2, I1. Okay? I2, I1. This distance we are interested to find out. The distance between the final position of the image and the initial position of the image. So we can find it out by if I subtract m2, distance m2, I1, that means distance between final position of the mirror and initial position of the image from m2, I2. Just see, that means this distance minus this distance will give me the distance between the two image positions. Is it clear? So now m2, I1 can be given as m2, m1. That is distance between the two mirrors plus distance between the mirror 1 and its image. m1, I. Can I write it like this? Minus m2, I. Now m1, m2 is y. This separation is y. Distance between the first position of the mirror and the first image is what? X. Okay, minus m2, I2 is x minus 1. So when you open it, x will get cancelled and will get 2y. So when your mirror has moved by a distance of y, the image will move by a distance of 2y, double the distance at the same time. So that means if v was the speed of the mirror, then the speed of the image will become double. Got it? So that's why we are saying here that the speed of the image will be twice the speed of the object, and the direction in which the image is moving is same as that of the mirror. Is this point clear now? Result is clear to everyone? Yes, sir. Okay. So let's solve the questions on it. If I give you a direct question where I say that this is I'm saying that say the object is moving, boy is moving towards the mirror with the speed of the boy. It is moving towards the mirror. It's say 2 meter, 2 meter per second. Okay. Then what is the speed of its image with respect to mirror, or speed of the image with respect to boy?
Ma'am, can you please turn back for 1 second?
Okay. Done, Bacha?
Just one. Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now tell me the answer. First, what question?
-2 and -4.
When -4.
Why -2? In first case, okay, -2 and -4. Okay.
Ma'am, did you mention which is moving?
Object is moving. Boy is moving towards the mirror. The boy is moving towards the mirror. Second, speed of the mirror is 0. Mirror is stationary. Second question. Okay. Speed of object is 0 and speed of mirror is say 5 centimeter per second. Find the speed of image.
10 centimeter per second.
10 centimeter. 10 centimeter per second. So these are the correct question you'll be able to solve it. Now I'll be giving you a question where both object and mirror are moving. Okay. So how to approach that question? That means state is given that the object is moving with a certain speed. Say, okay, I'll be giving the direction because I have to give the direction also. Then make the diagram. Say, this is the car. Okay, and here is a mirror on a car. Say, this mirror is moving with a speed of say 4v, and say car is moving with a speed of 6v. Okay. So what do we have to find? We have to find speed of image. Okay. Here, remember, we have given the 6v as the speed of car with respect to ground, 4v the speed of mirror with respect to ground. So we are asking the speed of image with respect to ground only. Unless and until
Ma'am, in the same direction.
both are yes, I will show the same direction. So here, how you will approach it? you will individually find out that what will be the speed of the image if, say, object remains stationary in which direction, and what will be the magnitude of the speed of the image. Okay? And then keeping the mirror stationary, only the object is moving, what will be the speed and direction of the image, and then you will add or subtract according to the directions and find out the final speed, solving this way. So we discuss. So first, keeping mirror stationary. Speed of image will be how much?
Minus 12.
Minus minus 6 आएगा. Mirror is kept stationary. Sorry, 2 yeah. Only 6 equal to minus 6.
We are finding with respect to mirror now.
I'm saying keeping mirror stationary.
And on with respect to mirror, we're finding the velocity of the.
With respect to ground. That's what I'm saying.
And why we are finding with respect to the mirror? It should be with the image, right?
I'm saying first of all, if we assume that mirror is not moving, mirror was stationary, then only because of
And the voice is low.
saying that if we must assume that mirror was not moving, only the object is moving, the car is moving. Then in that case, what will be the speed of the image of the car inside of the when you seen in the mirror? Will it be minus 6 feet?
And why is it negative?
Because we have discussed it, no? अभी तो discuss किया था. That when we
Ma'am,
keep
the
the mirror stationary,
Just
just we are listen. We are using the same result. Case one, it is case one that we are keeping mirror stationary and only object is moving. The speed of the image, okay, will be what? Here mirror is stationary with respect to mirror space, with respect to ground also, because mirror is stationary. Okay, so it will minus the speed of the object. So that's what we have done here.
Yes.
Minus 60. Okay, now if I assume that the object is not moving, keep keeping object stationary.
8 now.
So speed of the image will be how much? It will be same direction. It will be 8 in the same direction. Okay. Now the final speed of the image equals to minus 6v plus 8v. That is equal to 2v. So finally the image will be moving with the speed of 2v, in the right direction or the direction in which the mirror is moving.
And so since it's same direction, we are adding the velocity.
No, since one is negative, one is positive, so we are subtracting it. That's why we are getting 2. If both were same, we will simply add. If both are negative, again we will add. Got it? Is this question clear? How
And
how
so
is
if we're
solving
moving
this?
in opposite directions, it will be minus 6v minus 8v.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is this question clear? How we approach this question? Okay. Any doubt? Yes. What's the doubt, Peter?
Ma'am, can we take the relative speeds like of
No, we can't
60
take the relative speed. No, we can't take the relative speed. Why? Because the the change the speed of the image because of the motion of the object and the mirror is not exactly the same, not happening in the same direction. Both are happening in different directions also, and also also the magnitude of the change is different. In case of motion of the object, the speed becomes the magnitude of the speed of the image remains same, whereas in the case of motion of the mirror, the speed becomes double. So that's the reason we can't find out the relative speed. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, someone, what's the doubt?
Suppose the mirror was moving towards the object, then what would our answer? What would our process have been?
The same process, just accordingly you will just change this question. How you change it? Simply by changing that say instead of 4 be in this direction, say 4 be in this direction. This is what your question is. Then
Yeah,
same way, we'll approach them here. In the second case, first case answer means minus 6. In second case answer will be minus 8v. Because if I'm taking right direction as positive, the left direction will be written as negative only. It will be minus 8v. So final speed now in this case will become
Minus 14.
Yeah.
Understood.
minus 6 minus 8, that is equal to minus 40.
And how is this not relative speed?
Relative to with respect to what? The question asked was that can we find out the relative speed of the mirror with respect to car and then solve it. So I'm saying we cannot approach by that method. Okay? This is the way in which you will be approaching this question. I hope the question is clear. The way is also clear to everyone. So these are the different variety of questions which can be asked. Now I have told you all the concepts. Question can be asked. We can twist the question, but the concept remains same, right? So you'll get questions on plane mirror, motion of the plane mirror in Glorifier also. So it will take some time on my part because for me to enable such assignments will take some time because still some part is pending. So I'm not able to open the assignment for now. The moment all the data will be finally, and I'll be able to open the Glorifier, and I'll open the Glorifier assignment on plane mirrors. Okay, not the questions on plane mirrors. So you'll be able to solve such questions, variety of such questions. Okay. So now we will move. This plane mirror part is done. Now, yes, Peter.
Ma'am, can you once again please explain that how minus 14 became? I got disconnected.
The question was a little bit turned. We just modified the question. That initial question was that both car and the mirror was moving with 6 and 4 v speeds in towards right. Now we modified the question that say the car is still moving with 6v towards right, but what if the mirror start moving with the speed of 4v towards left? Then we have approached this question that in the speed of because of the by assuming that we keep mirror stationary, the speed of image remains minus 6 because of motion of the object. Okay, but if we keep object stationary, the speed of the image because of the motion of mirror now will become minus 8v. So the final speed of the image we have to add both the speeds. So we are adding minus 6 and minus 6. So my answer is minus 14v. That means finally the image will be moving towards the left with the speed of 14v. If we assume the second case. Okay. So now let's start with the spherical mirrors. So write down heading spherical mirror. Now, spherical mirrors can be assumed to be a section of a big sphere, glass sphere. Okay, if we cut a piece of a glass sphere, okay, and polish and smooth and polish one side, and silver the other side, we'll get spherical mirror. So there are two sides. One is bulged out side and one is the cave side. So if we silver the bulged out side and polish the cave side, we get a type of mirror, spherical mirror called concave mirror. Whereas if we polish the bulged out side and silver this cave side, the type of mirror you obtain is convex mirror. Okay. Now, to understand various points and and the spherical mirror, say a point which is the center of the sphere of which this mirror is a part, spherical mirror is part, will be center of curvature. So to understand what the center of curvature is, it is a point in front of the mirror such that all the points on the surface of the mirror are equidistant from that point, will be the center of curvature. Okay. From wherever you see, all the points are equidistant. So that means the center. So this is center of curvature for the mirror. Okay. Here, it's center of curvature. C is center of curvature. Okay. Then the center of the mirror is this point called P, which we call pole. P is pole. That is center point of the mirror, reflecting surface. That means whatever the reflecting aperture of the mirror is, the center of that mirror surface is called pole. Right? There will be a unique line which will pass through these 2 points, that is pole and center of curvature. Okay? This line is known as principal axis, PA. PA stands for principal axis.
It is the distance PC.
Again, repeat it up.
It is the distance between the pole and the center.
Yeah, we'll be coming to that point also. Okay. So there's a unique line which passes through these 2 points, pole and center of curvature, which is referred to as principal axis. Then separation between pole and center. Since center, the distance of the surface of the circle from the center is radius. In this case, it is r. That is radius of curvature. Okay. So this distance is r. That is radius of curvature. Okay. And all the reflecting surface of the mirror is called its aperture. The surface of the mirror which is available to reflect the light is called aperture of the mirror. Okay. From where the light when incident will be reflected by.
Excuse me, ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, better.
Aperture is like the diameter, like is aperture the curvature of the mirror or the diameter of the mirror?
Well, it is the basically it is the diameter of the mirror only. But then we say we can say that it is the diameter of the mirror. But now when we'll be dealing here, we are dealing with the paraxial rays. Okay. So that means what are the paraxial rays? Paraxial rays are the rays which are going very close to the principal axis. That means the width of the rays are very small. Like all these points will be dealing with the paraxial rays. So in that case, I can say that the diameter, on which the reflected ray, which is present to reflect all the radiation falling on its surface.
Okay, ma'am. So if you have to calculate the aperture, what will you calculate?
No, they never be giving you. They never to calculate aperture. Aperture is just a concept to understand.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Aperture is basically the reflecting surface of the mirror, right?
Yeah, that is a reflecting surface. Or we also say that it is the diameter of the mirror. So that which is basically when we refer to the aperture in a general term, it means that the surface which is available for the reflection of light. Okay. But is this thing clear now? Okay. Now after this, when a ray, and here you should write down that in this chapter we'll be dealing with paraxial rays.
What are these rays?
I am telling you. Paraxial rays, the rays which are very close to principal axis. Okay. Rays that are very close to principal axis. They move quite close to principal axis. That means they're falling on the central part of the mirror, near the pole only. Okay. Now we'll define focus. What is focus? When
Midpoint of radius.
Midpoint of that is the relation between the focal length and the radius is that that radius of curvature is equal to 2 times the focal length. But focus is midpoint of pole and center of curvature for paraxial rays. We can say like that. Okay. So here, when rays which are parallel to principal axis falls on the mirror surface, okay, they experience reflection. Okay, they converge in case of concave mirror and meet at a point on principal axis, and this point is referred to as focus. Okay. You can see here that it follows laws of reflection because normal on the spherical mirror will always pass through center of curvature. Okay. So whatever angle the ray is incident, it will get reflected back making the same angle. Okay. That's why the rays converge in case of concave mirror. Okay. And they actually meet at a point in front of the mirror on the principal axis. This point is called focus. In case of convex mirror, when parallel rays fall on the mirror surface, these rays diverge out. Okay. And appear to start from a point behind the mirror. This point is referred to as focus. Here also, it follows the laws of reflection because the normal will pass through center of curvature like this. This point is center. Okay. So by following the laws of reflection, angle I equals to angle R, the rays will get diverged out and only appear to meet that they are meeting somewhere inside the mirror where this point is called as focus. So what is focus? You can write down what is focus. When a narrow beam of light parallel to principal axis, when a narrow beam of light parallel to principal axis falls on the surface,
And then voice.
when a narrow beam of light parallel to principal axis falls on mirror surface, it converges to or appear to diverge from. It converges to or appear to diverge from a point. It converges to or appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis. A point on the principal axis after reflection. This point is called focus. Principal. This point is called.
You're not audible.
Got it? So I'm saying this point is called focus. Already written the definition of shape for the definition for the focus.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Okay, my voice is not clear. So I'm repeating it again that when a narrow beam of light, parallel to principal axis falls on the mirror surface, it converges to or appear to diverge from a point on principal axis. This point is called principal focus or focus. Okay. Then focal length. Given by small f, it is distance between pole and focus. Distance between pole and focus is called focal length. Distance between pole and focus is focal length. Okay. Then we have relation between radius of curvature and focal length.
R is equals to 2 small f.
Yeah. Then R equals to 2f is relation between radius of curvature and focal length, which is always true for spherical mirror in the case of paragonal, because we are discussing with paragonal mirror. Okay, this relation is always valid in the case of spherical mirror. Okay. Relation between radius of curvature and focal length. Yes, already written all these points.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Next, write down. Now we'll be finding out that where the image will be formed for the spherical mirror. For that, we'll need to know some set rules that which will be the path of the light, which will be followed when the light falls on the mirror surface. So write down next. Write down. Write down path of the ray. Okay. On mirror surface. For spherical. For spherical. For spherical. Okay. Okay. So, in case of concave, let's try first. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is pole. And we are drawing concave first. This point is the focus, center of curvature or principal axis. Focus and center of curvature. Focus, center of curvature, and last we'll draw here figure. So first one is whenever a ray is parallel to principal axis, after reflection from the mirror surface, it will always pass through focus. A ray parallel to principal axis after reflection from the mirror will pass through focus. Next. A ray which is incident on the mirror surface such that it passed through focus after reflection will get parallel to principal axis. Then, a ray falling on the mirror surface passing through center of curvature will retrace its path. And a ray which is incident at a certain angle on the pole, that means making a certain angle with principal axis on the pole, it will get reflected back from the pole making the same angle with the principal axis. We'll discuss the reasoning also. Okay, so we'll first of all write down the points, and the points are that first is a ray parallel to principal axis after reflection pass through focus. Ray parallel to principal axis, okay, after reflection passes through focus. Second, ray passing through focus after reflection becomes parallel to principal axis. ठीक है, ray passing through center of curvature will retrace its path. ठीक है, and a ray incident ठीक है at pole, ray incident at pole will get reflected back, making same angle with principal axis. I hope all these 4 points are clear. Now for the third one, we know that when the ray is passing through center of curvature, it will always fall normally on the mirror surface. Why? Because we know that center of curvature is the a distance which is always equidistant from the mirror surface, or we can say through which the radius is passing. So radius is always perpendicular on the curved surface. So hence this normal will also be perpendicular on this ray will also be perpendicular on the mirror surface, and since it is falling normally, hence it will retrace its path. Okay. Now for the convex. We draw these points: focus, center of curvature, focus, center of curvature. Okay. Then a ray which is parallel to principal axis will diverge out such that it appear to pass through focus. It will get reflected back such that it appear to pass through focus. A ray which is incident on the mirror surface such that it appears to incident on the passing through focus after reflection will get parallel to principal axis. Okay. A ray which is incident such that it appears to pass through focus after reflection will get parallel to principal axis. A ray which is incident on the mirror surface such that it appears to pass through center of curvature will retrace its path.
Ma'am, I got disconnected. Do we need to know the reasoning for each of these?
No, not reasoning, but you need to remember the path, because the question can be asked directly that what will be the path, and also when we draw trace the diagrams for the image formation, we have to take any 2 paths out of these to make the ray diagram. Okay, so we need to remember it.
Okay.
When a ray is incident on the mirror surface at the pole, then it will get reflected back, making the same angle with the principal axis. Okay. At the angle at which it is incident, it will get reflected back, making the same angle with the principal axis. So I think so this point is clear that the rules are same. So I'm not writing the statements again because the statements are same. It's only that if it appears to, it will be written here. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
remember these 4 paths for both the cases. When we'll trace the diagram for the image formation, we have to use any 2 of the path to draw the image. So you can take any 2 paths out of these 4 to draw the image formation in case of mirrors. So in the next class, we'll be doing the ray diagram, image formation, and the rest of the points. Okay. I hope today's lecture is clear to everyone.
Yeah. Ma'am, I had one doubt in the when you taught us how to in case 2 of moving object and mirror.
Yes, what beta?
Ma'am, in this I didn't understand the calculation.
Which part beta? So case 2.
Yes, ma'am.
We are finding the distance between first image and the second image of the of the object when the mirror is moved. So we have to find out this distance, right?
Right, ma'am.
We have to find out this distance, right? So how can we find out this distance? If I find the distance between M2 and I1 minus distance between M2 and I2. If I subtract this distance from this distance between the I1 and I2, so I'll get the separation between I1 and I2.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is what we have done here. M2 I1 is distance between final position of the mirror and initial position of the image minus M2 I2. So that we can get the distance between the 2 images. Now M2 I1 can be also written as M2 M1 because we know the separation between 2 mirrors and distance between mirror M1 and the image I1.